Besides sending the police, you might want to send an ambulance or a hearse.
Hello, Billy Ho here, coming at you with the 2023 Wells Fargo Championship held in Charlotte, North Carolina at the famous sort of Quail Hollow Golf Club. It's last year's President's Cup PGA Championships, so it's got a lot of value to it. Five things before we get started. Obviously, first thing is I appreciate all the new subscribers and especially the Kentucky Derby stuff and the horse racing really taking off. I'm probably going to have another video before the weekend's over. Maybe talking some sort of strategy as far as like betting strategy goes before we have the post draw on Monday. So subscribe to the channel. Number one, smash that like button so we can keep this video searchable in the YouTubes. Join the Discord. Feel free. I don't push it, but you're welcome to jump in and talk about anything you want. We got every sport imaginable. So just it's totally free. Get on it. Obviously, the contest will be out Monday, so be sure to get in that. We've been falling just a hair short of the 50 people. So I'd like to I just want to put that contest out there and know it's going to fill no matter what. I've been just letting it go without sending more invites out. So it's just almost there. And I figure maybe the Mexico Open wasn't maybe quite as popular. So, we only got 46 out of 50, but that's still more than enough. As long as we get above 45, I feel pretty good about it. So we're definitely not backing off of it, but we're nowhere near trying to bump it up to 75 or anything like that. So, article, I'm going to show it to you briefly. I just got it started. I just published it. Link will be in the description for your reading pleasure. And it's come together all right. It's just it's a preview. So I don't really try to tap picks. I do have a kind of a player pool there with tiers and stuff, and people that maybe I might suggest in this video, stuff like that. So, Wells Fargo, obviously, this is an elevated event, so it's got that $20 million purse to it. So you're going to see the cream of the crop, the best of the best. So that's what we like to see, and it's going to make things very challenging for DraftKings. So for now, let's get started. Okay, we're going to take a quick look at the golf course at a few holes here on a flyover. So, Quail Hollow is a par 71, 7,538 yards test of all around golf skills. Ryegrass fairways average about 33 yards wide, so not super generous, but not tight bowling alley wise. 2-inch rough doesn't seem all that bad to me. The greens are a healthy 6,578 square feet on average. It's a Bermuda grass. You're going to probably hear POA too. Basically, it's overseeded with POA. And according to the GSCAA fact sheet that I always look at every year that lets you know the course layout, it's been a wet winter, and that has really helped the overseeding. So I feel like it might be a little bit more of a POA feel to the grass. And it's probably going to be somewhat similar to what we've already seen in the Florida swing, like in the Northern Florida, Jacksonville, Tampa tournaments, Valspar and Players, things of that nature. But it might have a little bit more of a POA to it, which makes the greens to me a little bit more receptive, and around the greens probably easier to chip and play out of the rough as well. So that's always a good thing. And now right in line with a long, challenging golf course, you have to take care of the par fives. Having a distance off the tee helps, obviously, and I'm running through what they call the Green Mile, which is the 16th hole, which is called the Snake Pit. That's a par four that's long, requires a long and accurate tee shot to avoid water hazard. The 17th hole coming through here is the Queen's Course. It's a long par three over water to a narrow green that is guarded by bunkers. So that one is a precise shot. And then the 18th hole is called the Green Mile. It is a long par four that plays all uphill and requires a long and accurate tee shot to avoid the water hazard on your left. And the approach shot is uphill and plays to a narrow green protected by bunkers on both sides. So it's basically a solid golf course to deal with. So your model stats are going to be like this: strokes gained off the tee, number one, distance emphasized hugely. Strokes gained approach obviously is usually your top stat no matter what. There's only 3 par 5s, so you must take advantage of those. And there's not really any drivable par 4s, so you don't get a break there. The par 4s are long, so long par 4 scoring is in order. Tee to green, basically, and then of course, obviously, your putting and your opportunities gained, birdie or better, DraftKings scoring, stuff like that in your models. But putting is an interesting stat to me as I looked at about the past 4 or 5 winners of this golf tournament. And putts per green in regulation, where they were like number one, number two, number three. So putts per green in regulation is kind of interesting with the larger greens because you're going to need to do some lag putting. So the more 2 putts from long distance you get, hence putts per green in regulation. So obviously, as we get into the players and whatnot here, I'm sure you know that last year's Wells Fargo was not played here because they played the President's Cup in the fall. So they played it at Potomac Avenel in DC area, which is a completely different course. So I don't put a whole lot of stock in last year's results, even though my man Max Homa won that golf tournament, which he also has a win here. So but I don't know if there's a ton of correlation to it. Obviously, Cam Young came in second last year. He's going to be a big topic of discussion this week. So, I can see where you could see some translation going on, but it was a completely different golf course. Like I said, last year's President's Cup was held here. So if you want to look at who did really well, then that's fine too. But I've got this sorted. This is Rick Rungood's cheat sheet. He's already got the players out, so I love it when that happens. And I sorted it by strokes gained off the tee to start with because I knew it would put some people up here that are familiar to you and some people that maybe we'll take a look at. So as far as an initial player pool, I'm looking at who's really ripping it off the tee and who might be having some struggles. That's my main issue. Rory's going to be popular no matter what. And yeah, he boogered up the Masters. We all know that, the miscut, disappointing for everybody, but he's had time to reset and get back to the lab. And he just kills this course. He's got 3 wins here going back to like 2010. He's got nothing but you see top finishes, top 15s, top 10s. Great course history. So he's going to obviously be no John Rahm this week. He's taking the week off. So well-deserved rest for Rahm. Shout out to him for going to defending the Mexico Open instead of skipping it and then coming here for the money. So that's pretty interesting way to go about it. And then other players like Patrick Cantlay has been absolute stripe show off the tee. And he's always a good all-around player, tee to green wise. Not a lot of course history here, though. That's the thing. He missed the cut in 2021, but going back a ways, if we wanted to look way back, he would be up here. This is like the 2020 combi stats or whatever. So Cantlay 0 history up until that cut. So he has seen the course. He did play in last year's President's Cup. So maybe he's worth a look. He might be a little bit too popular for his own good. I don't know, but he does seem like he's trending toward a win sooner or later. I mean, it's not like the guy's never won a golf tournament, and he's won big tournaments, so he's no slouch, obviously. More guys that I was looking at was probably Victor Hovland, who just had a putting meltdown. I mean, putting meltdown at Heritage after being first round leader once again. Uh, I think he lost 7 strokes putting on the event as a whole. So I got to feel like a bounce back's in order. He had a third place finish in 2021, but he has been striping it off the tee. His ball striking is the best in the field. I'm not super worried about the around the green play at Quail Hollow. I think you do some scrambling is required just generally because of such long par fours that not everybody's gonna, people are gonna still be hitting 200-yard iron shots into greens. So, you're not always gonna hit every green in regulation, but Victor Hovland can handle himself when necessary. But that putting was just really, really bad. So that's always a concern with Victor. But other guys like Colin Morikawa has gotten his driver going again. Tony Finau, who was struggling just a hair bit with the driver recently, obviously has gotten that straightened out at Mexico. You give the guy a wide open fairway, and he's going to grip it and rip it. So I'm digging him. Honestly, I didn't really look to see if Tony was in the field this week. So yes, he is. Okay, good. I was thinking he was, but I thought, what the hell? But you can see how he's dropped way down this list on strokes gained off the tee, which is weird for him. But he is really, really dialed it in on approach. And the putting here, he's got a T21. He's got a, 41st at the Avenel last year. So it doesn't seem like he's actually got the best of results here. So that may be a deeper dive, but that's just somebody I was thinking off the tee wise. Obviously, Gary Woodland, really, really tearing it up off the tee. And his around the green and putting woes are well documented. That's the only thing that holds him back generally. But he did have a 5th place finish in 2021, but he had 2 missed cuts before that. So it's kind of hard to tell with old Gary what's going on with him. Having a good week in Mexico this week, so I'm not sure where he's going to end up. We're just getting Saturday started. So, but other guys like Ricky Fowler, I mean, maybe not destroying it off the tee or anything, but his overall game has come around a lot, and he's got great course history here. I mean, he's actually won this golf tournament back in the day. If you wanted to go over and look at some Ricky Fowler course history, so 4th place finishes, the win, a 6th, things of that nature, all looking good. And there's some other guys that are probably not off the beaten path that are hitting it well. Hayden Buckley has always been strong off the tee. Cam Davis seems to be getting his groove back. Ben Martin almost becoming like a plug and play type player at this point. He just seems to keep doing it over and over again. So I don't know. I guess we ride him till the wheels fall off. Now, some dudes that you need to take a look at for struggle bus off the tee recently. Xander Schauffele. He's lost badly in 3 out of his last 4 for him. Max Homa is another one, bleeding strokes off the tee. He goes as the driver goes a lot of times. If he's driving the ball well, you can put him in the top 5. So this might be a good get right spot for Max, actually. So I'm going to sort this back by projected points so we can get some different faces up here. So, I knew Max would project high, so I thought I'd throw him up here. But you can see, not even counting the Zurich, he missed the cut at Heritage, and the Masters, he lost strokes terribly there too. So I like how he's got Sam Stevens way up here. I don't really know. Guy has no history here. So, I mean, that's your latest toy, in my opinion. So you'd have to do a little bit more of a deep dive on him. But guys like Homa, Wyndham Clark, actually, he's been doing so well lately, and he's just Mr. DraftKings scoring king. He actually hasn't looked all that great off the tee, and he made the cut. He had to shoot 4 under to make the cut yesterday. So he was really not looking all that great either right now. Taylor Montgomery, a guy that normally relies heavily on his driver, not really doing all that well off the tee right now. He's actually losing strokes. So he's another guy to keep an eye on. Kurt Kitayama is another guy that I think would be a good fit for here. but he has actually not been since the win, I guess, at Arnold Palmer has not really been hitting the driver all that well. So anyway, there's a whole bunch of guys to go through, and this is just a first look preview, course preview to give you a kind of lay of the land. It's a tough course. It's a par 71. It's got long par fours in it, but if you attack the par fives, uh, then you're going to be in good shape. So one last thing I will leave you with, I loved how everybody, and he was about 16 to 18% owned, Luke List. Everybody was like, oh, if this is the time you were ever going to play Luke List with the wide open fairways and the big greens and the easy pass palm putting and all this stuff. And he missed the cut. Obviously, he lost 3 strokes putting. I rarely ever play him. But this week might be the flop lag or whatever you want to call it to play him because he has fantastic course history. And the guy just dominates off the tee here. So, and actually with the POA influence, I think this is a better putting surface for him than that slow pass. Well, it wasn't slow, but the better putting surface than pass Palom, in my opinion. So, depending on the price, I think Luke List is going to be way down. He might even be 6,800 in this field after the miscut, but he's going to be a value play for me next week right off the jump. So until the next video, I appreciate everybody subscribing and liking. Keep that going. Got more Derby content coming out, and we'll have some more PGA content. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.